Welcome back to part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go check it out now because this gets intense. In part 1, Nyambura kissed a dangerous stranger to escape her stalkers and ended up falling in love with Seoul's most powerful crime boss. Now, 6 months later, just when she thinks she's finally found happiness, a ghost from her past returns. The man who ghosted her 3 months into her soul journey is back, and he's a politician's son with enough power to destroy everything she's built. She's pregnant, she's engaged, and she's about to face the fight of her life. If you're loving this series, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. Let's get into it. 6 months had transformed everything. Nyambura stood in her gallery, adjusting photographs from her series Between Worlds. Images of Seoul through eyes that had learned to love again. Taejun's profile in morning light. Their hands intertwined against the Han River. The city that had given her everything. Her phone buzzed. A text from Taejun. Dinner tonight. I have a surprise. She smiled, her hand instinctively moving to her stomach. I have one too. The pregnancy test that morning had shown 2 pink lines. 6 weeks along. She'd tell him tonight over dinner, with the future stretching beautiful and terrifying before them. Excuse me, is the owner available? Nyambura turned toward the voice and her blood went cold. The man standing in her gallery was impeccably dressed, designer suit, expensive watch, that effortless wealth that came from never wanting for anything. His hair was styled perfectly, his smile confident and cruel. Jae, she whispered. Park Jae-hyun's smile widened. Hello, Nyambura. Miss me? Park Jae-hyun, son of Assemblyman Park Chong-min, one of Korea's most powerful politicians. The man she dated for 2 months when she first arrived in Seoul, desperate and lonely and so naive. The man who'd vanished without a word 3 months ago, leaving her confused and hurt until Taejun had shown her what real love looked like. What are you doing here? I came back for you. He moved closer, looking around her gallery with possessive eyes. I've been in Geneva. Father had some business that needed my attention. I tried calling, but your number changed. You didn't try very hard. You ghosted me, Jae. No calls, no texts, nothing for 3 months. I was busy. I assumed you'd wait. He said it so casually, like her waiting was inevitable. But I'm back now, and we can pick up where we left off. Nyambura stared at him, incredulous. Pick up where we left off. Are you serious? Of course. I know I should have communicated better, but you understand how demanding my life is. My father, politics, expectations. His hand reached for her face, and she stepped back. Don't be difficult, Nyambura. I'm here now. I've moved on, Jae. I'm with someone else. His expression darkened. Someone else? Already? We've only been apart 3 months. You left me for 3 months without a word. What did you expect me to do? Pine away waiting for you to remember I existed? I expected loyalty. His voice went cold. I expected the woman I was dating to have some patience, some understanding of my position. Your position? Anger flared hot in her chest. Your position as what? The man who treated me like I was convenient until I wasn't? The man who made me feel like I wasn't worth a simple text message. Don't be dramatic. You knew what you were getting into when you started dating me. I thought I was dating someone decent. I was wrong. She moved toward her desk, putting distance between them. You need to leave. Not until you tell me who he is. This someone else you've supposedly moved on with. She shouldn't tell him. Every instinct screamed to stay quiet. But she was tired of men thinking they could control her narrative. Lee Taejun. And it's not supposedly. We're engaged. The name hit him like a physical blow. His face went through shock, disbelief, then rage. Lee Taejun? The crime boss? You're joking. I'm not. You left me for a gangster? He laughed, the sound harsh. What? I wasn't dangerous enough for you. Not exciting enough. I didn't leave you.
You abandoned me.
And I found someone who actually values me, who treats me like I matter. Matter? You're a trophy to him. Another conquest. At least with me, you'd have legitimacy, respect, a future in proper society. I have a future, one I'm building myself, with a criminal. He shook his head, something calculating entering his expression. Does he know about your visa situation? How precarious your residency status is? Her stomach dropped. What? Your work visa is tied to this gallery, which required permits. Permits that need renewal. Permits that can be complicated. His smile was poison. My father's office oversees immigration policy. One word from me, and your entire life here becomes very difficult. You wouldn't I? You humiliated me, Nyambura. Dating a common criminal after being with me. Do you know what that does to my reputation? Your reputation? I don't care about your reputation. You will. He pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. Her gallery's business license. This expires in 2 months. Usually a formality to renew, but these things can get held up in bureaucracy. Lost paperwork, additional requirements, surprise inspections that find violations. He looked at her, eyes cold. Or you could be reasonable. End things with Lee, come back to me, and all of this goes smoothly. That's extortion. That's reality. I'm offering you a choice. He pocketed his phone. You have 1 week to decide. After that, I start making phone calls. He walked out, leaving Nyambura shaking with rage and fear. Her hand went to her stomach, protective. She'd escaped one controlling man only to have another appear, wielding different weapons but the same entitlement. She picked up her phone and called Taejun. Change of plans. Come to the gallery now. We need to talk. Would you stay in a country where your ex could destroy your life with one phone call? Or would you fight back? Drop your thoughts below. Taejun arrived within 15 minutes, walking into her gallery with concern etched on his face. What happened? She told him everything. Watched his expression go from concern to cold fury. Park Jae-hyun. He said the name like a curse. The assemblyman's son. I've heard of him. Entitled, spoiled, uses his father's position like a weapon. He's threatening my visa, my gallery, everything I've built here. Her voice cracked. And I have to tell you something else. What? I'm pregnant. The words hung between them. 6 weeks. I found out this morning. Taejun's face went through every emotion at once. Shock, joy, fear, and then something fierce and protective. Pregnant. We're having a baby. She was crying now. I was so happy. I wanted tonight to be perfect. But then Jay showed up and now everything is. He crossed to her, pulled her into his arms. Everything is going to be okay. How? He has political power. He can make my life impossible here. And I have different kinds of power. His voice was steel. He's threatening you, threatening our child. That's not something I'll tolerate. Taejun, please don't start a war over this. I'm not starting anything. He did that when he walked into your gallery making threats. He pulled back to look at her. But I won't do anything without talking to you first. What do you want? I want to stay in Seoul. I want to keep my gallery. I want to raise our baby here. Build the life we've been planning. She touched his face. But I don't want you to become something you're not because of him. What if the only way to protect you means getting my hands dirty? Your hands are already dirty. That's not what I'm afraid of. She held his gaze. I'm afraid you'll cross a line you can't come back from. That this will turn you into someone our child would be afraid of. He closed his eyes, jaw clenched. Then tell me what you need. Time. Space to think. And trust that we can handle this together. I can do that. He opened his eyes. But Nyambura, if he escalates, if he makes any move to hurt you or take you from me, I won't hold back. I know. Just give me a chance to try my way first. He nodded, but she could see the storm brewing behind his eyes. 3 days later, Jay made his next move. Nyambura was meeting with a potential client when he walked in with 2 men in suits. Not security, lawyers, or government officials by the look of them. Professional intimidation. The client made a quick excuse and left. The gallery suddenly felt very small. Nyambura, we need to discuss your situation. Jay sat on the edge of her desk like he owned it. I've been reviewing your paperwork. There are some irregularities. There are no irregularities. Everything was filed properly. Was it? He gestured to one of his companions, who pulled out a folder. Your initial work visa application listed your employment as translator at an international magazine. But you quit that position 6 months ago. Your current visa is tied to this gallery, which you only registered 4 months ago. That's a 2-month gap where you were technically in violation of your visa terms. Her blood ran cold. That was during the transition period. It's allowed. Allowed with proper documentation, which I don't see in your file. His smile was cruel. This could result in deportation. Unless, of course, we find a way to resolve it. What do you want? I told you. End things with Lee. Come back to me. I'll make sure all your paperwork is not only in order but expedited. You'll have permanent residency within the year. And if I don't, then I file a complaint with Immigration Services. You'll have 30 days to leave Korea. Your gallery will be shut down. Everything you've built here gone. He leaned closer. Is Lee Taejun really worth losing everything? Before she could answer, the gallery door opened. Taejun walked in, and the temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Park Jae-hyun. I've been wanting to meet you. Jae stood, assessing Taejun with barely concealed contempt. Lee Taejun. The infamous crime boss. You're shorter than I expected. And you're exactly as entitled as I heard. Taejun's voice was dangerously calm. I think it's time you left. I'm having a private conversation with Nyambura. Private? With 2 government lawyers as witnesses. Taejun smiled without warmth. That's not private. That's intimidation. I'm simply discussing her visa situation. Completely legal. Using your father's position to threaten the woman I love? That's not legal. That's abuse of power. Jae's jaw tightened. Careful, Lee. You may run the streets, but I run the system. One word from me, and you'll have prosecutors crawling up your organization's ass. One word from me, and those prosecutors will receive very detailed files on your family's corruption, bribes, embezzlement, connections to organized crime. Yes, even politicians need friends in my world. Taejun stepped closer. We both have weapons. The question is, are you stupid enough to use yours? The 2 men faced each other, and Nyambura saw the danger in both. Different kinds of power, but equally capable of destruction. Stop. Her voice cut through the tension. Both of you, stop talking about me like I'm not here. They both turned to her. Jae, you want me to come back to you out of fear. That's not love, that's possession. She stood taller. I'm not going to do that. And if you try to destroy my life here, I'll fight you with everything I have. You can't win against me. Maybe not alone. But I'm not alone anymore. She looked at Taejun, then back at Jae. I'm also not stupid. I know what you're doing. Threatening my visa, making me feel powerless. It's the same thing you did when we dated. Making me feel like I was lucky you even noticed me, like I should be grateful for whatever scraps of attention you gave me. Jae's face flushed. That's not. It is. And I'm done. I'm done with men who think they can control me. I'm done being afraid. She pulled out her phone. I've been documenting everything. Every threat, every attempt at coercion. I've sent copies to 3 different journalists, including one who specializes in political corruption. If anything happens to my visa, if my gallery mysteriously shuts down, if I suddenly have immigration problems, those files go public. You're bluffing. Try me. Her hand went to her stomach, protective. I have too much to lose to back down now. Jae looked between her and Taejun, calculating. Finally, he straightened his suit. You're making a mistake. Both of you. My father has influence you can't imagine. And I have evidence your father can't afford to have exposed. Nyambura's voice was steady. Leave us alone, Jae. Move on. Find someone who actually wants to be with you. His laugh was bitter. You think he's better than me? He's a criminal. At least I offered you legitimacy. He offers me respect. That's worth more than legitimacy. She walked to the door, opened it.
Goodbye, Jay.
Don't come back. He left, his lawyers following. The gallery door closed behind them, and Nyambura's knees nearly gave out. Taejun caught her. That was incredibly brave, he whispered. That was incredibly stupid. I just threatened a politician's son. You just stood up for yourself. There's a difference. He held her close. The question is, did you mean it? About the documentation? Every word. I've been keeping records since he first showed up. Dates, times, what he said. I sent everything to my lawyer and a friend in journalism. She pulled back to look at him. I learned from you. Always have insurance. Pride shone in his eyes. You're magnificent. I'm terrified. You can be both. He kissed her forehead. Come on. Let's get you somewhere safe while we figure out if he's going to retaliate.
She didn't argue.
They left the gallery together, and Nyambura tried not to think about all the ways this could still go wrong. That night, Nyambura couldn't sleep. She found Taejun in his office, staring at his computer. What are you doing? Research. On Park Jae-hyun and his father. He gestured to the screen. Did you know the assemblyman is up for re-election next year? And there are already whispers about his financial dealings. Taejun. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I'm just gathering information. He looked at her. Knowledge is power. And right now, we need all the power we can get. She moved behind him, wrapping her arms around his shoulders. I don't want this to consume you. It won't. I promise. His hand covered hers. But I need to know what we're dealing with. Jay threatened you because he thinks he's untouchable. I want to know if that's true. And if it is, then we find another way. He turned to face her. I meant what I said about not doing anything without talking to you first. But Nyambura, I need you to understand something. You're carrying our child. That changes everything for me. I know. No, you don't. His voice was intense. I lost my brother because I was powerless. I've spent 15 years making sure I'm never powerless again. And now you're telling me a spoiled politician's son is threatening the woman I love and our unborn child, and I'm supposed to just wait? She cupped his face. I'm not asking you to be powerless. I'm asking you to be smart, to think about our future, not just our present. What if being smart means being ruthless? What if being smart means being patient? She held his gaze. Jay is used to immediate gratification. He's used to people folding when he makes threats. What if we don't? What if we just outlast him? That's a gamble. Everything about us is a gamble. From that first kiss to right now. She pressed her forehead to his. But I believe in us. I believe we're stronger than his threats. He was quiet for a long moment.
Then, okay.
We try it your way first. But if he touches you, if he makes any move to hurt you or take you from Korea, all bets are off.
Deal.
They went back to bed, holding each other in the darkness, both knowing the storm was far from over. The next morning brought unexpected news. Nyambura's phone rang, an unknown number. Ms. Wanjiku? This is Choi Minseo from the immigration office. I'm calling about your visa situation. Her heart stopped. Yes. We've received some complaints about irregularities in your paperwork. I wanted to reach out directly to discuss them before they become formal issues. What kind of irregularities? The gap between your employment change and gallery registration. It's been flagged for review. The woman's voice was professional, but not unkind. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but given that a complaint was filed, we need to investigate. A complaint from whom? I'm not at liberty to say. But Ms. Wanjiku, between you and me, this feels politically motivated. The complaint came from someone with significant influence. Nyambura's hands shook. What do I need to do? Provide documentation of your activities during that 2-month period. Employment records, financial statements, anything that shows you were making legitimate efforts to maintain your visa status. She paused. I'll give you 2 weeks. That's the best I can do. Thank you. After the call ended, Nyambura sat staring at her phone. 2 weeks to prove her visa should remain valid. 2 weeks before everything she'd built could come crashing down. Taejun found her in the kitchen, documents spread across the table. What's all this? My life in paperwork form. She showed him bank statements, emails, contracts. I need to prove I wasn't in violation during those 2 months. But I was barely surviving then. I just quit my job because of Director Choi. I was staying with a friend, doing freelance translation work for cash. Nothing formal, nothing documented. Then we document it now. He sat beside her. Who paid you? Even for cash jobs, there are records. Bank deposits, text messages, emails arranging the work. It was all so informal. Nothing is ever completely informal. We find the threads, and we pull them. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling my lawyer. We're going to build a case that shows you were actively working during that period, even if it was informal. Will that be enough? It has to be. His jaw set. I'm not letting him take you from me. Over the next week, they worked tirelessly. Taejun's lawyers helped reconstruct Nyambura's activities during those 2 months. Emails to potential translation clients. Text messages arranging work. Testimony from people she'd worked with. Even bank deposits that proved she was earning income. But Nyambura knew it might not be enough. Jay had political power, and political power could twist bureaucracy into knots. On day 9, Jay called her. Have you reconsidered?
No. Pity.
I hear your visa hearing is coming up. It would be a shame if it didn't go well. If you interfere with my hearing, those files go public. You destroy a political career over a visa issue? That seems extreme. You destroy someone's life over your bruised ego. That seems psychotic. She kept her voice steady. Back off, Jay. You're not going to win this. We'll see. He ended the call. That night, Nyambura woke to cramping. Sharp, painful, wrong. She stumbled to the bathroom, saw blood, and screamed. Taejun found her on the floor, rushed her to the hospital. The hours that followed were a blur of tests, ultrasounds, doctors speaking in concerned tones. Finally, her doctor came in. The baby is okay. You had a threatened miscarriage, likely brought on by extreme stress. But the heartbeat is strong. Relief flooded through her. Thank God. However, you need complete bed rest for at least 2 weeks. No stress, no exertion. If you continue under this level of strain, you could lose the pregnancy. After the doctor left, Taejun sat beside her bed, holding her hand like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. I almost lost you both. But you didn't. We're okay. You're not okay. This is my fault. I should have handled Jay from the beginning, should have made sure he could never threaten you. This isn't your fault. It's his. He's the one doing this. But even as she said it, she felt her resolve cracking. The stress, the fear, the constant threat hanging over them. Was her independence worth risking her baby's life? As if reading her mind, Taejun said quietly, What if you let me handle this? Not violently, not illegally. But let me use my connections, my resources. Let me protect you. That's what I've been trying to avoid. You taking over, me losing my agency. This isn't about agency. It's about survival. His voice broke. Please, Nyambura. Let me help. Let me do what I'm good at. She looked at him, saw the fear and desperation in his eyes. Saw a man who'd lost his brother and was terrified of losing his family again. And she realized that sometimes accepting help wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. Okay, she whispered. But we do it together. You don't shut me out. Together, he agreed. Always. What would you do? Fight alone and risk everything, or accept help from someone powerful but dangerous? Drop an A if you'd let Taejun handle it, or a B if Nyambura should keep fighting herself. The next morning, Taejun made calls. Not to threaten, but to gather information. By afternoon, he had what he needed. Park Chong-min, Jay's father, is being investigated for campaign finance violations. It hasn't gone public yet, but prosecutors have been building a case for months. He showed Nyambura a file. Jay doesn't know. His father kept it quiet. How does this help us? Because if the assemblyman is already under investigation, he can't afford any more scandal. including his son using his political position to harass a foreign national over a personal grudge. Taejun's eyes gleamed. We don't threaten him. We inform him. Give him the chance to control his son before this becomes another problem. That's surprisingly diplomatic for you. I'm learning. He kissed her hand. From the best. The meeting was arranged for neutral ground, a private room in an upscale restaurant. Assemblyman Park arrived alone, a silver-haired man with sharp eyes and the bearing of someone used to power. Mr. Lee. Ms. Wonjiku. This is unexpected. Thank you for meeting with us. Taejun's voice was respectful but firm. We wanted to discuss your son's behavior. Jae-hyun mentioned you. Said you're engaged. We are. But your son seems to believe Ms. Wonjiku belongs to him because they briefly dated almost a year ago. The assemblyman's expression didn't change. Young men often struggle with rejection. Young men don't usually have the power to destroy lives when they struggle. Nyambura leaned forward. Your son has been using your political position to threaten my visa, my business, my ability to stay in Korea. He's filed false complaints with immigration services. He's made it clear that if I don't end my engagement and return to him, he'll have me deported. That's a serious accusation. I have documentation. She slid a folder across the table. Recordings of his threats. Testimony from immigration officers who confirm the complaints are politically motivated. Text messages where he explicitly states he's using your influence. The assemblyman opened the folder, his expression darkening as he read. I see. I'm pregnant, Nyambura continued. 6 weeks along. And your son's harassment has already caused medical complications. I nearly lost my baby because of the stress he's caused. For the first time, emotion flickered across Park Chong-min's face. I wasn't aware. With respect, sir, you should have been. Taejun's voice was steel wrapped in silk. Your son is using your name, your position, your influence to conduct what amounts to stalking and extortion. If this becomes public, it won't just hurt him. It'll hurt you. Is that a threat? It's a reality. Taejun met his gaze steadily. I have no interest in your political career. But I will protect my family. If Jay continues this behavior, these files go public. The media will have a field day with a politician's son abusing power to harass his ex-girlfriend. The assemblyman was quiet for a long moment. Then, what do you want? We want him to stop, Nyambura said simply. We want my visa situation resolved without interference. We want to live our lives without looking over our shoulders. That's all. And in exchange? In exchange, this never happened. No publicity, no scandal, no damage to your career. She held his gaze. I'm not interested in revenge. I just want peace. Park Chong-min studied them both. Finally, he nodded. Jae-hyun has always been impulsive. Entitled. I've indulged him too much, thinking it was harmless. He stood. I'll handle my son. Your visa situation will be resolved by end of week. And Ms. Wonjiku, please accept my apology for what you've endured. After he left, Nyambura exhaled shakily. Do you think he'll really stop Jay?
He will.
Because if he doesn't, his political career is over and he knows it. Taejun pulled her close. It's over, Nyambura. You're safe. She wanted to believe him. But a part of her knew that men like Jay didn't give up easily. She was right. 3 days later, Jay appeared at the hospital where Nyambura was staying for observation. He walked into her room like he had every right to be there. You went to my father. Get out. You humiliated me. Made me look weak in front of him. His voice shook with rage. Do you know what he said? That I'm an embarrassment. That I need to leave you alone or he'll cut me off completely. Good. Maybe you'll learn something. I'll learn. He moved closer, and she reached for the call button. I gave you everything. My time, my attention, my connections. And you threw it away for a gangster. You gave me nothing. You gave yourself to me and expected gratitude. She pressed the button. Security is coming. Leave now. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Taejun's voice came from the doorway. He entered with 2 security guards. Your father gave you a choice. Stop or face consequences. You're not stopping. This doesn't concern you. She's my fiancée, the mother of my child. It concerns me completely. Taejun stepped between Jae and Nyambura. You have 5 seconds to leave before I have you arrested for trespassing and harassment. You can't touch me. My father. Your father just withdrew his protection. I spoke with him an hour ago. He's tired of cleaning up your messes. Taejun's smile was cold. So yes, I can touch you. And if you ever come near her again, I will. Jae looked between them, finally seeing that he'd lost. His face twisted with impotent rage. You deserve each other. A criminal and a whore. The slap came from Nyambura, sharp and sudden. Get out. And don't ever speak about me again. Jae left, and this time, Nyambura knew it was really over. She'd stood up for herself, accepted help when she needed it, and survived. 3 months later, Nyambura stood in a bridal suite overlooking Seoul. Her wedding dress was a fusion of Kenyan and Korean styles, elegant and bold. She adjusted the beaded collar, traditional Kikuyu craftsmanship paired with modern Korean silk. You look beautiful, darling. Her mother's voice came from behind her. She'd flown in 2 weeks ago, finally ready to meet the man who'd captured her daughter's heart. Thank you for being here, Mama. Where else would I be? My daughter is getting married. She touched Nyambura's face. I'm proud of you. Proud of the woman you've become. Strong, brave, exactly what I hoped for you. Tears filled Nyambura's eyes. I wish Dad could see this. He does. And he's proud too. Her mother adjusted the collar. Now go. Your husband is waiting. The ceremony was intimate but beautiful. 40 guests in a traditional Hanok garden. Nyambura walked down the aisle on her uncle's arm. Taejun stood at the altar looking devastatingly handsome in a fusion of hanbok and modern suit. When he saw her, his eyes filled with tears. You're perfect, he whispered as she joined him. So are you. They exchanged vows in English and Korean, promising partnership, respect, and love. When they exchanged rings, Nyambura felt their daughter kick. She's excited, she whispered. She better be. We've been planning this for months. They laughed, and the officiant pronounced them married. The kiss was tender and full of promise. Their guests erupted in cheers, Kenyan ululations, mixing with Korean celebrations. At the reception, speeches flowed. Suji cried talking about watching Taejun become human again. Nyambura's cousin joked about Korean men being persistent. Taejun's lieutenant warned Nyambura that his boss was terrible at mornings but excellent at devotion. As they danced, traditional Kenyan steps followed by Korean wedding dances, Taejun whispered, "Are you happy?" Deliriously. More than I ever thought possible. She rested her head on his shoulder, their baby bump pressed between them. We did it. Built something beautiful from something terrifying.
We did.
And we'll keep building. Every day, she agreed. The reception lasted into the night. Food, music, joy. 2 cultures celebrating 2 people brave enough to choose love over fear, partnership over possession. And somewhere in Seoul, Jae received news of the wedding and finally let go. Did Nyambura and Taejun's love story touch your heart? Drop a heart if you believe in fighting for love. What was your favorite moment from their journey? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic love stories. 1 year later, the nursery was painted in soft yellows and greens. Neutral colors for a baby who'd already defied expectations by arriving 2 weeks early. Nyambura sat in the rocking chair nursing her daughter, while Taejun watched from the doorway with pure adoration. She has your eyes, he said softly, and your stubborn chin. Poor kid doesn't stand a chance. He laughed quietly, entering to sit beside them. They'd named her Wanjiro Heron Lee, honoring both their lost siblings, carrying their memory forward with love instead of grief. I've been thinking, Taejun said, about expanding the gallery, creating a cultural exchange program between Kenyan and Korean artists. That's a wonderful idea. And maybe documenting it. Stories of connection across cultures, like ours. He touched his daughter's tiny hand. Our story would break the internet. It already did. Remember the wedding photos? How could I forget? We trended for 3 days. They sat in comfortable silence, watching their daughter sleep. Outside, Seoul continued its endless rhythm. A city that had brought them together, tested them, transformed them. Do you ever regret it? Taejun asked. Leaving Kenya, kissing a stranger, all of it? Nyambura looked at him. This man who'd been dangerous and damaged, who'd learned to love her with patience and respect, who'd become the father she wanted for her children. Not even for a second. Even when it was hard, especially when it was hard, because hard things made us stronger. Taejun kissed her forehead, then their daughters. I love you, both of you, more than I have words for. Show us instead. Every day, like you promised. Every day, he agreed. As night fell over Seoul, Nyambura reflected on the terrified woman who'd kissed a stranger to escape danger. She'd thought that kiss was about survival. Instead, it had been about transformation. About learning that the bravest thing you can do is choose love, even when it's dangerous. Especially when it's dangerous. Because some risks are worth taking. Some people are worth fighting for. And some love stories are worth every terrifying, beautiful moment. Thanks for watching this emotional journey. If you love this story, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment on what you think about the story. Give me a rating from 0 to 10, and I'll see you in my next story.